Hey everybody, welcome to the first episode of the Five Tools Show with the two Joes, the only show dedicated exclusively to sports cards and a lot more. You're not going to want to miss this. Let's do it. Joe, what's up, bro?
What's the deal, Joe? What's going on?
This is awesome. I'm excited because it's the first show we're doing, and I want to do this for a long time. God willing, this should be a lot of fun for a long time for us. So
yeah, we talked about it for a while. Now it's just time to lay it down, right?
Okay, so the first thing I wanted to talk about, I wanted to ask you, we've had some time now since the price increases at PSA. I know you did a deep dive into Beckett. You were thinking about other options, other grading, and I just wanted to get where you are at right now, what your consensus is right now on that situation.
Yeah, I mean, talk about homework. I mean, homework is over school-wise, but you get into your hobbies and stuff like this. I mean, especially with all the changes. It's been crazy. I've been looking at, obviously PSA went from $59 a year for the basic fee, where you just the value deal, whatever it is, things, the economy deal, whatever. So it was 59, now it's 100, right? So but with that $100, now you get to grade cards at a $20, $25 level. Okay.
Right.
Or you could do the quarterly, right? So you have, but the quarterly only has a few things. You might get the 60s. Right now they have the 60s where you throw 20, I think it's like 20, maybe $10 or $12 for 1960 cards. So in saying all that, what I came up with, I figured out that SGC grades vintage almost at the same level as PSA if you look at the comps, which is interesting, right?
Sure.
So, and if you look at a lot of these break companies or a lot of these old time collectors and you look at their vintage cards, a lot of them are SGC, right?
Yep.
But I have a second year Jordan that I've had since childhood, right? Now it's a good card. I mean, to me, it's close. It could be an 8, right? Now, as I look at this card, I look at the comps and I'm looking at SGC, I'm looking at, Beckett and all that stuff. And it's funny how as vintage was okay and the comps were good, the comps on the Jordans is not even close. I wrote a few down in the last 3 PS8 sold for the last 3 PSA 8 sold for 99, 1076 and 1001. All right. Then you go to BGS and you got 860, 947, 936. So you're dropping about $100.
Right.
Then you go to SGC and you got 680, then 980, 936, which is a strange drop off. It could just be, but the Jordans are just such a difference where you're forced to go PSA. I mean, to get your max comp on that card. And then, when you even go to like the current guys, I have a Justin Herbert, Rookie of the Year, NFL, boom. I got his Mosaic Prism. Same thing. I mean, if you look at anything outside of PSA, it was almost like $100 difference. And it's like the research, the strategy you have to use in this time is you have to put your homework in. I mean, you have to put your homework in and find out what you're doing. So what I came up with is I think I'm going to send about 20 vintage cards through SGC, and then the Jordans and Gretzky's that I have and the currents, I'm going to throw into PSA.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I've considered some of the fancy Bowman stuff to send to Beckett. I've thought about buying more SGC and just sending stuff to SGC. I know that during the pandemic, they made proclamations about being able to, outdo PSA or other companies, and they failed at it. But I still, like we were talking before, I love SGC. They look amazing.
Yeah,
the old cards, like for the T2, the tobacco cards, the Gaudis and stuff. The tuxedo. That's what people say about him. So yeah, I totally dig that. And I as far as the PSA, I'm still gonna stick with PSA for like a lot of things. If it's Hall of Fame rookie cards, even vintage stuff, for the most part, post-war, I'm gonna still go with PSA. Just be more selective. 7 months, who knows? That's for what I'm paying on a 45-day that doesn't exist anymore from now. It took 7 months. So who knows with the new, maybe it'll take 5 months or 6 months and I'm paying an extra $10 a card. It's not a big deal for me.
Yep. You know, another thing too, is that also when you're subbing something like this, all right, if I sub this as an 8 and
Mhm.
it comes back at a 9. Now 9s are going for $3,000. So my thought is, if this comes back at a 9, I wouldn't mind paying the $200 express and get it back in
Right.
3 weeks or 2 weeks or whatever, right? Because if it's a $3,000 card, I don't mind spending $200.
Absolutely.
So like that's where, but when you submit it, how do you know? See, that's the thing. So it's like, do I sub it at a 9 or do I sub it at an 8? These are the things with, listen, I've been holding on to the Jordan card for so long, and it's like, if any time is to grade it, it's now, right? So it's just the strategy you have to use, and what is it going to come back as? It's just, I could listen. You could ask 10 people right now what this card's going to come out. I bet 5 is going to say 8, 4 is going to say, maybe a 9, 1's going to say a 7. So it's like, until you get it there, you just don't know.
All right, let me talk about another thing regarding PSA real quick. I just wanted you to take a look at this. If you take a look here, Phil Hughes made a really interesting tweet, okay? But it's not the tweet, it's the response that caught my attention. Phil Hughes says, lots of new grading companies entering the space. Awesome. Competition is healthy. Selling yourself is cheap and fast will only drive up prices of PSA slabs. Don't get it twisted. That's clearly a jab at HGA, which we'll talk about in 1 second. But here's this thing that I saw. PSA will be out of business soon. Mark my words, right? And Phil Hughes,
that's crazy.
Liked and said, words marked. Okay. So that's an interesting thing to me, right? But here's the thing, I start to think about it. It's kind of crazy when you think about it, because PSA has a couple of threats going on. Like right now, if you think about PSA, they're a company that, as far as I can tell, is still under FBI investigation, which is pretty crazy. So that's happening. They're also a company that can't produce what they produce, which is cards being graded at a rate that is possible. They can't even expand fast enough. It's impossible. To me, now I'm seeing this AI stuff with HGA. And when you think about this stuff that maybe they're under investigation, it's like, what really is the biggest threat right now to PSA, in your opinion?
I heard Gary Vee talk about this, and he talked about how you can't say, because we don't know, right? PSA. What if SGC in 3 years is the #1 brand? I mean, no one knows, right? Everybody says, yeah, PSA. But at the end of the day, PSA has to produce. They can't have 4 or 5 million cards 6 months from now still in their building, right? I mean, you can't be the #1, company and not produce. I mean, at the end of the day, you know what? Expand. We need more people grading. We needed, quicker turnaround times, right? I mean, if you're the best, then you have to produce. It's like the Yankees. You want to spend all the money, you want to be the Yankees, then you got to win titles, right? It's the bottom line, straight up. So my thing is SGC, Beckett's been around forever. You know what I'm saying? So they have their own little, line regardless of what. But 3 years from now, I don't know. SGC, they went through some shit, but they expanded and they just, built a new warehouse. They got things moving. And like you just said, with the AI stuff, that's a whole other side, bro. And honestly, I feel like for the future of cards, that needs to happen.
No, I agree with that. And speaking of PSA, I got a box back from Wax Packs Nation today. Awesome. I got 7 cards back from PSA finally.
Oh, beautiful.
And I'm going to share them right now. And speaking of grade, you just said a grade and a half off. Now PSA does like 8.5, 9. But I got, all right, so this Yastrzemski rookie, it's a 1.5. My boy Wayne hooked me up with this
great card.
I was selling my buddy Wayne. He has a ton of vintage stuff. This I'm getting back 7 months. This is my mantle, my 54 Bowman mantle in a 1. I mean, dude,
beautiful.
Honestly,
card.
I was happy because
it got graded.
I was happy it got graded.
Right?
Yeah, I honestly thought it was going to be. I just wanted an authentic on there, so they put a 1 on there. Cool.
Take it all day.
Yeah, a 65 Morgan.
Oh, Beautiful.
Joe Morgan rookie at 2. Yo, we spoke about, we're passionate collectors, man. For me, dude, to have these cards slabbed up, I don't care. I don't need an 8 of that. It's insane, bro. If I get an 8 of that, I'd buy a boat with that.
Yeah.
Phil, you know what I mean? Like, dude, Phil Necro rookie. Beautiful. Another one came out as, I think, a 3. Again, I honestly,
that's a nice looking card, though. Honestly,
I love, dude. 65 really was a great set.
Yep.
Speaking of 65, the Catfish Hunter rookie. This one came out, I think, as a 3.5. So, dude, today was like, I was so happy. They also do, you do insurance with them, requires a signature, so you get your cards back good.
Yep.
And dude, this is look at how legendary.
Oh,
I thought I was going to get an 8 on this, but look at how great this card is, man.
Bro, that card is so, like, you talk about a card, like, bro, look how G this dude is. Like,
this guy's such a legend.
Chilling. Oh,
absolutely,
my goodness.
bro. So those,
beautiful,
man.
That's a hell of a lot right there.
It's a nice lot. And like, yo, just to, that Stengel, man, just being a baseball semi-historian and knowing about that guy and like how legendary, how important he is to the game, to have a card, especially as a manager and his old, I mean, that's just amazing. I love that, man. Really, really cool.
Hey, he had some tough times with those Met teams.
Sure.
Yo, he had a legendary story about, there was a catcher. Actually, his name was Choo Choo Coleman, and I know from doing the Negro League project that I'm doing, he was the catcher for the Mets the expansion year, and they asked him about his. He wasn't really known to be a great defensive catcher, but they asked Casey about what do you think about Coleman behind the plate, and he said, "Well, I never seen anyone run to the backstop to pick a ball up faster than him." Basically saying that the guy let every friggin' ball through his legs. Right. But the guy's quotes, the guy's quotes were so legendary. Like, how do you just say that about someone that you're coaching? It's friggin' legendary. Stengel was a gem, bro. Like, legendary gem. I got to read a book on Casey. I never did, but I would love to read his bio or something, because that dude was fucking amazing.
Absolutely, man. And those cards, like anytime I see a Stengel card, I mean, most of the times, the only ones I've been able to find and afford are manager cards, but I buy them. There's another one, Veteran Masters. It's him, and I forget who else is on the card. I think 62 tops. Yeah. I have a couple of Stengel cards, all manager cards, but one day I'll buy like the Stengel, like
classic
one.
Like Whitey Herzog too. He got a few classic player cards. Herzog, he's got one with the tinted freaking glasses, bro. Yeah. Fucking some of the old man, from our era. We're so used to them as managers, right? But the player cards, it's just ill that just have like a player card that you grew up as a manager. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I agree. And you know what? Manager cards are awesome. We should do a segment on manager cards one day, because
I would love it.
I miss them.
Totally. Yo, real quick, before we were speaking about Phil Hughes, shout out to Phil Hughes, because I was in one of the breaks with Midwest Box Breaks a while back, and I got one of the Phil's packs that he had. He puts cards in. You don't know what you're gonna get, and I grabbed this bad boy out of there. It's a beautiful, beautiful Lou Bob. Love this card, man. Not ever getting rid of this one. Tell you that. Beauty. Yeah, Phil does a lot of cool stuff for the hobby, man. He's a passionate collector too. I got to give him props, man. A lot of these guys, sitting on mills and they're like whatever, but that dude, he posts a lot of stuff. He does a lot of giveaways. He's a dude. There's a few guys in the game that obviously are into it, but Phil definitely, he gets busy with the hobby.
He does, man. And the great thing about Phil is that, we're Yankee fans, so we love Phil Hughes. Phil Hughes, remember how highly touted he was, and he came up and we just loved it. I feel like I don't even want to get into how I feel like Cashman didn't do the right thing with him from the beginning. But, Phil Hughes was a Yankee most of his career. He went to the Twins, but we loved him in the Bronx, man. Phil Hughes was legit. And he's just, to me, like, Phil Hughes is just the guy who, played baseball, probably has a ton of money, and now he's just all DG'd out. He loves it,
yeah.
And it's incredible.
Hey, we'd be the same way, bro. Could you imagine?
Oh man,
let's be honest. All those cars that were 1s and 2s in there, it would have been 8s and 9s.
100%. And right? Speaking of which, dude, we're going to talk one day about Dimitri Young's ridiculous collection. Absolutely insane.
Yes. You put me on to him. Yeah, we got to do something about
crazy. Okay, another thing I wanted to talk about, you really put me on to just getting into non-sports big time.
Mhm.
It's crazy. I mean, it's crazy how into this stuff I am. I wanted to show you some real crazy stuff because we started thinking about, we started talking about who's the GOAT, who's this, who's that. This is this Flair rookie. This is out of control, man.
Bro, that's out of hand. Bro, listen, that joint right there is crazy. Look at that. Yo, that's amazing right there.
Unbelievable, right? I mean,
that's
this card is so awesome because I remember
there
we were
can't be
talking this.
There can't be a lot of those. Yo, there can't be.
What the pop report is on that.
No, and that's one thing I was going to say. No one collected those back then, bro. What year is that? I mean, that's what
82.
82. Come on, bro. Wrestling cards, 82. Come on. It's like to find that card in like really good condition is probably totally rare. Let's just be honest. That's 82.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I mean,
it's a beautiful card.
Yeah, it really is. Part of the whole boom that was going on, and we spoke about this, is like, okay, obviously Jordan. I gotta give props to the Mike Trout movement, really starting to push the modern GOATs and stuff. But then when you see like, okay, so everybody figured, all right, let's get Gretzky. Boom, Gretzky went through the roof. And now me and you were thinking, dude, Ric Flair, Randy Savage. Let me show you some other ones that I had up. Let's see what else. I had some real crazy.
Yeah, there's some joints there's an Andre one, I think, of that year too. That's crazy.
Here is the Andre.
Oh my! Okay, I saw that.
I tried to do my homework on the Andre the Giant rookie. Apparently, this is a hand cut one.
Yep.
In mint 9, 12,500. But I believe Japan Pro Wrestling or All Japan, I'm not sure, did another one the following year, which is also kind of looked upon as a rookie card, more like a legit rookie, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think he has like one in the States that was an actual rookie.
Right.
From my research, I'm not. It could be. I know. I think he had one. Right? Am I right about that?
Dude, I have the beauty about the stuff, bro, and just card.
It's still kind of in the infant stages of wrestling for wrestling stuff. Really is.
Okay, so here's the one that looks more like collectors are seriously going after. Although the other one's more expensive.
Crazy though.
Great card.
Well, the other one's more expensive. You think some lunatic was able to hand cut that and make it a 9, which is amazing, right? That was a hand cut joint. The other one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this one is that card is wow,
incredible, man. Absolutely
that's a great card. And what's that graded?
That's graded as a VG4. So I mean, if this was a 9, who knows?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You're not going to even find who even has cards. You think someone really has that card in an 8 or a 9? I doubt it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's totally crazy. Here's another Iron Sheik rookie, bro.
What?
This is crazy, dude.
What?
Right?
Yo, honestly,
I mean,
that
bro,
year,
like, that's legend. Like, yo, you know what? This is his. Like, I looked again. I don't know, man. I tried to look. It's not like baseball when you could say, yo, the kid played 18 games in 73. His rookie's either 73 or 74.
That's it. There's no way to go around it.
But like to find these, so to find an Iron Sheik rookie autoed, bro, look how hard the kid's auto is, bro.
His auto is insane. Straight lunatic shit.
Man.
Yeah.
Amazing. So this is another absolutely crazy card.
Break your back, you know what I'm saying?
Unbelievable, man. Absolutely incredible. Okay, now here's also another one that I think is absolutely incredible, man. The Savage rookie.
That's
Monty
beautiful.
Gum, they made wrestling cards in the 80s and like they're sought after big time. If you look at this card, I mean, bro, it's $1,000. It's a near mint 8. The pop can't be high. I was looking on there. Did the guy write anything about the pop? Pop 8. There were 8 of these cards. I mean, you're talking about seriously one of the most legendary wrestlers in the history of professional wrestling.
Character, everything you could want in a wrestler.
So that's another cool one. Here's another one that you might dig, man. This is out of hand.
Yo,
San Martino rookie auto.
Bro,
I mean,
Bruno
okay.
San
Again,
Martino.
you got to think, bro. And again, this is the intriguing thing about this, and I'm glad you put me onto this, because I'm like trying to do research and try to find out, is there has to be earlier San Martino things, but like a playing card. I mean, not playing card, rather a trading card. I don't know, man. This is kind of like not called as rookie, but it's an auto.
Man, that set is iconic if you really think about it. Listen, the wrestlers you're pulling out of that's like that. Now, what set is that? What is that again?
1982 Wrestling All-Stars. When you think
Wrestling
about Ric
All-Stars.
Flair, Bruno San Martino, dude, and I think there's a Junkyard Dog rookie in that as well. So
Here's the thing.
You're talking about legendary wrestlers.
And let's listen.
It's
We're Italian Americans from New York.
Sure.
Bruno San Martino was a legend. Let's be real. He was a champ. He was a legendary wrestler. You know what I'm saying? And he was an Italian, obviously. But I mean, like that whole thing of Bruno San Martino. Come on, my uncles used to talk about him and like legend. Like, come on, man, Bruno San Martino. What?
Yeah, man.
Crazy.
Here's another thing I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
Any pickups and pulls you got that you want to show off tonight? Anything new?
I say for something new, that's probably my best pull for the 2021 so far. Super short print right there. Definitely great in this boy. This is some good stuff right here. I don't know how many, like we talked about this before, not sure how many of these are out there. Obviously with the super short prints, you don't know. But really loving this card, man. Really nice card. Really tough pull. One out of, I believe, 2,900 packs. So I got that out of a jumbo pack. So
yeah, those Ronnies are definitely sought after, super rare, and what a great player. Those are really exciting.
Man.
I wasn't too lucky with 2021. I didn't pull any short prints. I did cop a box just of Collector's Edge.
Yo.
And I pulled a couple of cool cards. These cards are all numbered, so all the cards in the set are numbered. And so I'm opening up this box, and on the box it says there are Elway autos in there, 3,000. So I'm going through
that's a 93?
93, yeah. So I'm going through the box. I'm going through the first pack, okay?
Yeah.
And I see an upside down card. It says John Elway. It's numbered. I'm like, yo. But nah, it wasn't. It's this. But some really nice cards, man. I don't know.
Bro, that's
look, John
amazing.
Elway's a legend. Beautiful card. Maybe I send this to PSA just for my own PC, man.
Joe, do you know? Because listen, 90. I don't remember those cards at all as a kid. I mean, I just don't. Those look like the disco cards now, like in the mosaic. They look way ahead of their time. 93. You agree?
Yeah, I totally do. I mean, there are cards that I remember that one of the. Hold on, I think I might have it here. When I stopped collecting, I would say maybe 94. One of the last boxes I bought. This is 94 Select maybe, and I pulled this card, it's Raul Mondesi rookie, which I think now is actually off the hook. I think it's such a cool card. I think it's cool that you buy a box and maybe you'll get a card like that in there.
Yep.
That was a different era. At the time, I hated the card, and when I looked at it, I was like, yo, I'm not feeling this. I don't like the direction it's going. But I had not seen anything like that. So for me, when I pulled that card, it's weird you said that. And 93, the first thing I said was like, wow, man, this is kind of crazy for 93. When you think about it, bro, baseball started doing inserts, in 93 with Topps Black Gold, or was it 92 or 94? One of those years when they first started.
Well, the 93 had the golds. Yeah.
Right.
I don't know if they did it before that. That's what I'm saying, because that was the era of the time where I stopped collecting.
Yeah, 92 doesn't.
Yeah.
Wait, 92, does 92 have gold? No, I think 93 might have been. Anyway.
I think 93. Yeah, because they came, if you bought the complete set, you got a pack of golds in there.
But could you imagine a Jeter like that? Some crazy Jeter? So, like, yo, to your point, totally. I agree. Those were ahead of their time, man. Totally ahead of their time. Trying to do something different in a saturated card market in the early 90s when, like, we're at the height of the junk wax and they're trying to number. I mean, the cool thing about this box, this thing, all these cards, I mean, whatever. These cards are worthless.
Yeah, but what is that box going for right now about?
maybe 20 or 30 bucks, you
30
know,
bucks. Okay.
but you never know. Look, there's only 100,000 cards per player. It says that on the box. And when you think about 2021 tops, that's
there you
way
go.
shorter printed. And you're talking about, I mean, I got like just fun cards, a Lawrence Taylor, you know what I mean?
Oh,
I
yeah.
got some cool,
Yeah.
some decent cards, man. So it was a fun box to open. I'm not somebody who buys too much football, but definitely fun.
I would love to know how many Elways are in the 10 of that. We got to look that up one day too.
Absolutely.
I mean, because I don't know much about that set, but like I said, that card looks like a card that could be out right now. You wouldn't even know, because they took that whole disco look that's big with the, you know, with the mosaic and all that now.
Okay, and the last thing I wanted to talk about, I found on Team Sets for You, they have the T206 team sets, which are really cool. T206 is it's not that crazy. I mean, with the variations, it's nuts. But if you stick to, like, you know, you can put a set together, depending on how crazy you want to get with the backs of the cards. But this gave me some hope, because I want to buy some tobacco cards. I really don't. I had a Mayo cut plug card as a kid. I have no idea where it is. It's probably worth something. But just for us, like, I know, you know, Yankees would be a cool set to collect. And I did some of the homework on the Yankees. This is great that somebody took the time.
That is pretty cool
to flip this up. Team Sets for You is awesome. That the Highlanders, before they were the Yankees, and I did some of the math on it. It's not that crazy, man. There's not that many Hall of Famers in here. They're not any of the ones that we would think of. You know, that obviously this is pre-Ruth, Lou Gehrig and all those guys. So you got guys, I mean, some of them Hall of Famers, but really cool. Like Hal Chase has, I think, 5 different variations. There's one holding the trophy, seems to be the one that people go, I'm not versed in T206, you know, and I'm starting to get into it and going back to the SGC. I think I'm going to cop some of these in SGC. They're beautiful.
Yeah.
But this is a cool thing. I just love the whole idea of it. When it comes to T206, I think it's nice to like do a project. So maybe this might be a project I might be into.
I have one card from that T206. I have it's funny. I bought it like at 99 online. Now, do you remember when they used to have like those late night programs where they would like sell shit? Like, what the hell were they called? They'd have those late night cable programs where they would sell shit on TV.
It's like the Home Shopping Club.
The Home Shopping
baseball
Club.
cards.
They were selling baseball
the
cards.
guy with the blonde hair. Yeah, I remember that guy.
And I bought a card off of there like in 99. It was a Billy Natris. I don't know if he's in there, but the Tigers. I have it somewhere. But it's like a 4 or a 3 or a 4. But I've had that card for like 20 years. But listen, it's cool to just, even if you don't even have someone who's a big name, just cool to just have a graded card or any card from that era. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Billy Natris, Tigers.
I know. I remember. I saw you post that on your Instagram. It's a great card. Yeah, for me, it's like I look at some of these cards, you know, and I look at the ones. I think we were talking. I showed you a 56 tops where Comiskey Park was in the background. Just looks so amazing.
Loved it.
So when I see these old, you know, tobacco cards, you know, the ones that are the portraits, whatever, but like the cool ones where, like, you know, you see the guy batting and, you know, there's some weird like 10th background or some like archaic. Just to me, that's so cool. I love that stuff, man. To me, that is really what it's about. Just finding like you cards that you love and buying them the way they look, just based on the way they look.
And with these cards, there's so many variations, right? Like there's like glove on, right hand, glove off. There's so many different things with these cards. I mean, especially with like the Ty Cobbs and like there's like 5 different variations from one card. You know, it's, you know, you think it's one card, but there's so many different things that happen with these sets. It's really crazy if you think about how many different variations in such an old set, right? It's pretty crazy.
Absolutely.
Joe, there was wackos like us back then. There was. Let's be real. There was dudes that dudes were collectors back then. Like every era, like there was people. Yeah, there was probably a million more people that didn't give a shit about a baseball card or a card, but there was probably those crazy dudes that were like, just like what you're saying, like, yo, I got to cop more. Well, look at the Red Man tobacco cards. Like you had to buy, you know, chewing tobacco to get these cards. And it's like, bro, where we're from New York. People really weren't chewing tobacco like that back in the days. That was like a Southern thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it's like, but you probably had people just buying shit just to get that card, just to get that, Monty Irvin card, or getting that, Hank Aaron card, Willie May, whatever it was in that era. But like, it's so ill how I call them third-party cards, but they're not. But I'm saying like they weren't tops. You know what I'm saying? They were like tobacco, or you had, something like, or even something like this. Like, did I bring that? Yes, just something like this, like golden, like stamp. You know what I'm saying? Like something, something like this.
That's a beautiful card, man. Don Newcomb.
And if you look at this, right? Like this is a stamp, bro. But look at the color, and look at that. Like it's a card. It really is. To me, it's a card. I mean, it's a stamp, yeah, whatever you want to call it. But like that, the color of the sky, the uniform. I mean, like, let's be real. There's a lot of like stamps, whatever you want to call it. There's so many different variations of cards out there that are beautiful, right? And it's like, yeah, this card's not. It's probably worth $60 or something like that. But for me, that's not the point. The point is that it's something different. And I could just look at this thing all day. It's like, imagine getting a set of this. Like, how fun would that be? Like stamps. You probably couldn't, because it's probably so hard to even find. But man, that's what's the beauty of this hobby, man. It keeps going. It's like infinity. It really is.
Yeah, man. So to finish it off, man, any hockey pulls? Any talk about hockey? I know we had this conversation. I'm seeing hockey cards go up in price now. But I feel like hockey cards are still really undervalued. And I'm going to talk to a buddy of mine who has a bunch of stuff. We're going to go through his hockey cards and send some to PSA.
Dope.
A lot of the 80s stuff, like the Bork, the Lemieux, forget it, man. This stuff is worth a lot of money. And I still believe that hockey cards are undervalued. Guys, if you find hockey cards right now, you can get 9s of legends from the 90s, man, for like $20, dude. You can get, like, I just bought a box of Pro Set, and Dominic Hasek rookies, man. This card could jump.
Wow, that's a great card.
Pro Set for however that the cards don't stick, and I'm gonna send a few of those. I mean, that's a player I always liked a lot as well. But it's like that now. Well, talk about this card, man. This is such an interesting piece, man. Really talk about this
super interesting. Now, I grabbed this from my LCS. Old timer who runs a shop, and he said he's had this card for years, just sitting. Nobody really bought it, but obviously with the Gretzky craze going, I decided to buy it. I mean, I got it for really, really a great deal on it. I mean, the card is basically minted out. I mean, it's a little off-centered, but all these cards were really off-centered at this time. I mean, there's only a few 10s in this. Honestly, I think there's maybe 8 or 9. But the card is sharp all around. Now, the funny thing about this 80 Topps is Topps decided to go with a scratch off. So this is all a scratch off. You can't see Edmonton Oilers or anything about the card unless you scratch this off. So most cards from this era that's been sitting around that haven't been graded have some sort of scratch on it, right? Now, the gentleman told me he's been in this case for years, so there's no scratches on this. Now, when you go to PSA, it'll say scratch off or clean. It says something like that. Basically, like, you can grade it with it like this, or you can grade it scratched off. Obviously, the scratched off has less value. But I'm amazed at Topps that they really thought that have a scratch off was going to work. Well, Joe, what do you think about that? Like, the whoever had the marketing scheme to say, all right, we're going to do a scratch off card. And I mean, maybe was it cool? Was it a good idea back then? I don't know, 40 years ago. It's just a Freudian thing.
It's crazy. I think it's a really interesting card, man. It really is. The reason why I think it's so interesting is if you're a kid and you get a Wayne Gretzky, it's Wayne Gretzky. What's stopping you from taking a nickel and rubbing that off?
Totally.
Like,